in the IndyCar series, but you're prone to make mistakes with that car right behind you, and I think that's what we see right now with Pedro. He's trying to play offense and stay going, but you just can't help but to glance to see where that guy is behind you.
It is 6th, 7th, and 8th, Jake Query, led by Juan Pedro down the backstretch, headed to 3.
I thought for sure Pedro might give up that position the last time by, but how many times have I said that? Now he finally does. Norman sweeps to the outside. No, Pedro can hold him up. They're going to go side by side. Norman ran out of real estate, and DePero got up on both.
Tough to pass through turns 4 and 5 as they go single file through there. It's Pedro, Norman, DePero in that battle for 6th.
Boy, Davey, you're allowed to hold that inside line headed down to turn 3 because that is the preferred groove to the inside. That makes that race around the outside awful tough to pull off.
You know, here's the tricky part for these officials to watch. If you can't keep that inside line, as you said, you could use that not so much as a blocker, but as long as you stay in that line, that's your line. A guy comes on the outside of you, but when you get down to turn 3, it's a long ways around that corner, and it's always that question: does the guy on the inside need to leave some outside room, or is it okay for him to block? Which obviously we've seen Pedro do to Norman.
6 laps to go. It is still Kyle Kaiser over Zachary Clayman DeMello, Santi Urrutia, and Colton Herta. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th has stayed pretty tight, but no change. Been watching that battle for 6th, though. Juan Pedro. Does Ryan Norman have anything for him, Jake, heading to turn 3 once again?
Okay, we're going to try this all over again. Again, Norman pops to the outside, can't close, pops a second time. DePero follows him. Pedro able to hold him off again through 3.
Norman's best finish this season, a pair of 7ths, and that's where he is right now. Now to the inside of Juan Pedro, but now he gets back in line. Pedro still leads that group through turn 7 and 8.
Pedro car swung wide. That allowed Norman a groove, but Davey, as this track twists to the left and to the right, that groove for Norman quickly became the outside, and now he's got his hands full once again with DePero.
Let me tell you, that area of the racetrack, you just normally don't see any passing through there. And I'll tell you, Paul Tracy tried to pass me in a truck down there through one time.
How'd that end?
It didn't end good for him. You know, he tried that outside lane, and they're just really, you have to lift if you're on the outside, which Norman did wisely, but that is just very tight through there.
This has just been fantastic racing mid-pack. Again, Kyle Kaiser has kind of stunk up this show as he's got a 5.5 second lead, but Jake, that doesn't mean that we haven't seen some fantastic racing and battling throughout the course of this field.
Yeah, exactly. Up front, Kyle Kaiser has been all by his lonesome, but all kinds of activity behind him. Again, Norman with Pedro just in front of him. DePero right there. They look like one car coming at you, Dave.
Yeah, they sure do, as all of a sudden Norman has to check up a little bit. That allows DePero to make up a little ground. You tell you what, throw a proverbial blanket over those 3 cars. They make their way through turns 7 and 8.
And Davey, all these drivers deserve a lot of credit because as much as they're sliding around, that sets up the possibility of getting run into from behind. All of these drivers doing a great job of racing aggressively but keeping it off of each other.
Yeah, exactly. And one mistake by a guy in front of you when you're that close, you're usually into it. So these guys got to be careful, and especially DePero, being his teammate, has such a nice lead that he doesn't want to be a cause of yellow, that's for sure.
Hey, Dave, first, how about that battle for 3rd as Colton Herta continues to stalk Santi Urrutia?
Yeah, he's all over him, but not really reeling him in, as we saw earlier. I will say this, it looked like Urrutia is all over this race course. The back end's really coming around, where Colton Herta's ride seemed a little smoother, at least through this portion of the race course.
Battle for 6th, back into turn number 3.
Norman finally dispatched Pedro. Then he locked him up. He missed the turn altogether. DePero's able to get by him. What a disappointment for Ryan Norman. And he now all of a sudden is trying to get that car whipped around. And guess what? The engine just went off, and you can see through the helmet the dejection on Ryan Norman as the field passes by. He had made the move. He missed the turn. He locked him up. And Ryan Norman sits and waits now, trying to get that 48 machine back on course.
It's just a matter of time, Davey, because...
it was a good pass. That's the way you're supposed to do it. He just kept on the accelerator a little too long and just couldn't get it slowed down in time. But tough place to pass, even though that's the passing zone, still very, very tough place to pass.
Yeah, this is a tough position now because with the local yellow, you can't do any passing down there to turn 3. And
yeah, it's green everywhere else, and local yellow there with only 3 laps to go in this race. And Norman did get the car in reverse. It does have it backed up right now, trying to get back going again. And it'd be great, obviously. Wow, what a bummer for him. I mean, running for for that position, and now he finds his way all the way back down in the 9th. It's going to be 10th before it's over.
So Ryan Norman was able to get that car refired, as Davey talked about, and the good news is we can let this battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rage on, as Kyle Kaiser's lead is 5.1 seconds here with just a couple laps to go, 2 laps to go. In fact, Kyle Kaiser already out of turn number 2. Jake, you can pick up the leader heading you to turn number 3, but keep your eye on that battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, about 5 seconds behind.
Not difficult to ID that leader of Kyle Kaiser because that Juncos Racing color scheme is so familiar. White machine with green accentuation already through turn number 3. But let's keep an eye on that battle for 3rd. Clayman DeMello running in 2nd. Then Dave first. Santi Urrutia still has Colton Herta all over him.
Yeah, he's had his mirrors full of Colton Herta the last several laps here at Exhibition Place, and that continues as they make their way through turn 6. Once again, Urrutia is back in, comes around just a tad. Herta looks much smoother through this portion.
Yeah, Urrutia did take the wide way around turn number 6. Colton Herta slings it through turn 7. He closes to within a couple car lengths. But again, this is not a part of the racetrack where it is easy to get alongside a driver and make a pass. Out of the final corner, though, Kyle Kaiser is going to see the white flag here on the streets of Toronto. They'll rage on behind him. It has been a perfect day so far for this driver for Juncos Racing. He's entered the weekend as the points leader, and Jake Query, he is poised to pick up his 2nd win of the season.
He has been a model of consistency, has Kyle Kaiser. He has not always finished up front, but he has certainly started races there. But he has not missed a point this entire day today. Kyle Kaiser, Dave first, coming at you into turn number 5.
Yeah, BMO Field is located to driver's right as he passes through turn 5. BMO, as mentioned earlier, the home of the Toronto Argonauts, a franchise that's seen 16 Grey Cups, and a lot of alumni go on to the NFL, namely Joe Theismann. Will a win today here help send Kyle Kaiser onto the Verizon IndyCar Series one day? It looks like his day here in Toronto.
It would have been very understandable if Kyle Kaiser would have started to feel the championship pressure with Matthias Lace winning 3 of the last 4 races. If he's feeling that pressure, he hasn't shown it. Out of turn number 11, Kyle Kaiser, right fist pumping in the air. He'll see the checkered flag. He picks up the win in race number 1 here on the streets of Toronto. Zachary Clayman DeMello scores a well-earned 2nd place finish. The Canadian will stand on the podium. Santi Urrutia holds off Colton Herta for 3rd. Herta's going to pick up a nice points day for 4th. Aaron Telitz comes home in the 5th position. We see that battle for 6th continuing to rage as Juan Pedrahita trying to hold off Nicholas DePero as they will continue to battle for the 6th spot. But Davey, what a perfect day for Kyle Kaiser, your points leader in Indy.